Let's go. Hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region, and welcome to this Free State Colorado video. Today, I'm joined by Natalie Menten, one of Colorado's Liberty leaders. Well, Natalie, I hope you are well, and thank you for joining me today.
I am glad to be here. Thank you, Brandon.
Well, Natalie, we have some breaking news tonight that should concern taxpayers in Jefferson County and across Colorado. Our discussion will also tie into our previous video on public persuasion, where Natalie exposed how taxpayer money is being spent on high-priced political consultants who are crafting ballot measures to take even more taxpayer money away from hardworking Coloradans. So, Natalie, what happened today in Golden?
In short, what happened today is the three Jefferson County Commissioners decided to ignore the voice of the voters, what we've spoken in the last twice in the last 5 years, and said no tax increase. They totally ignored us today and have decided to put another issue on this November's ballot in the same as the past. Deceptive ballot language is being used, and this ties into that public persuasion that we've talked about in the last video. The consultants here have paved the ground and led everyone in their little staff and government group to believe that it's all legitimate what they're putting forward. And in some way, this is not a tax increase. The citizens of Jefferson County should know right off the get-go, this proposed measure that was approved to go onto the ballot today will increase your property taxes. You are going to be losing your taxpayers' Bill of Rights refunds, not only for just 1 year, which is estimated to be over $54 million, but this will be in forever. And it's a decision that if the voters fought for this, because of Colorado law, we are unable to petition our property tax caps back at a local level. So we can do that kind of a cap statewide, but we can't do it locally. So the Jeffco commissioners have set this up using this paid consultant we've talked about before. We'll talk about it a little more. A paid political operative to lay the foundation for this ballot issue using language that does not comply with the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. They are denying it's a tax increase, although we have their staff members, their chief financial officer, in fact, saying it is a tax increase. And today they ignored what many volunteers and activists showed up today and said, the ballot language that you're approving today, if you do this, it is dishonest, it is a scam, it is a con to use this language. And they totally ignored the voters. So what occurred today was opening day of a battle that will go through into November, and we're ready to face it because the voters are not going to accept a property tax increase. We just have to get it through to them that this was a misleading language put forward by three elected officials, nobody else with oversight over them, and they've crafted a deceptive, dishonest measure.
Wow. So not only are these greedy politicians coming after people's paychecks, coming after people's wallets, trying to take more money I mean, they have more money than ever before. They still want more and more and more. Times are tough right now. People are making it hard. It's hard for people to make ends meet. It's hard for people to afford the grocery bill. The property taxes continue to increase. I just heard from a friend today where their monthly property taxes went up $500 a month. I mean, people are struggling out there. You have these greedy politicians in Jefferson County. It's bad enough that they want to take this tax money away from the public. It's even worse that they're using deceptive ballot language to try and deceive and persuade the public to do so. And then to add insult to injury, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars with these politically connected consultants to try and make their measure even more deceptive, more likely to pass at the expense of the voters. So I really appreciate your efforts to bring this to light, to get people fired up, to get people showing up. I mean, this photo from today, where you have a great group of Liberty leaders down at the county commissioners meeting there in Jefferson County in Golden, the Taj Mahal, as people call it, this ridiculously ornate big building down there. So thank you for getting people together to show up, speak out, and speak out against what they're trying to do.
Well, it's a good kickoff for us. The thing is, we've said twice, I've said no twice in the last 5 years. Here it is coming up again. I mean, I'm in the background there holding up that no on 1A sign. I feel like I just barely put the signs up in my garage attic, and now they're coming out where we're going to have to update them and do how this work. Going going back to the language, just to express this a little more, the way this language is crafted, again, it does not comply with the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights. Taxpayer's Bill of Rights, which is Article 10, Section 20, says if it is a tax increase, it needs to include the language starting with shall taxes be increased. This ballot issue does not. It starts out by saying, using word games, and I'm going to describe it a little more. I guess I shouldn't go into it too much because I'm just going to say it again here in a moment. But sum it up by, this is language that doesn't comply by giving that disclosure to the voters. And anytime you're going to hear one of these county commissioners or the public information officer or any of the people helping on this campaign, just ask them simply, is this a tax increase? And they will try to deny it, but it is. So I'm going to let you keep going on to the slide because I think I'm starting to repeat myself here out of frustration. It's frustration because when you tell it to these county commissioners in black and white, or hearing their own CFO, their own chief financial officer, answer off the record kind of in a boardroom meeting up on the 5th floor there at Taj Mahal, and the CFO says it's a tax increase. And we played it in that room today. And they go, I don't know, whatever the consultant says, that's good enough. I believe him. I believe the lawyer. I mean, I'm like, so I'll let you go forward. I'm starting to rant a little.
Hey, I love it, Natalie. I love the passion. People got to get passionate. This is your paycheck. This is your property tax bill they're coming after. So, people need to be aware of this. So we got a video here. Forrest Mommy, one of our local liberty activists, a great leader down there in Arvada and Jefferson County, recorded your testimony
She's a
today.
wild cat and she's so fun.
Jessica, Forest Mommy, is awesome. Definitely a treasure here for our Liberty community, and she got you on video. So let's hear what you had to say down there. Speaking truth to power, speaking out against these greedy politicians, letting them know that the public needs to be made aware of their deceptive language. So let's check it out here.
Good morning, County Commissioners. Natalie Menten. I live in Lakewood. I recognize signs were asked not to be displayed, but I do love my First Amendment. I want to go back to the basics of what we're deciding today, and we're deciding what is going to be the ballot question that is placed before the voters. And I've heard people speak about we need to have an honest conversation with them. We need to let the voters decide. But if this language is passed as is, you are cheating the voters out of an honest discussion. This is a tax increase. This is a meeting between the chief financial officer here at Jeffco and the budget and the audit committee. And it goes to the core of this. Is this a tax increase?
Tax increase, already have for years.
And those who are paying property taxes, it is because you're not getting a refund check back.
So under the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights, supposedly this complies with TABOR. No, it does not. First of all, TABOR allows a 4-year waiver of those revenue caps. It's been misconstrued by the courts. Put that aside for a moment. Next, when there is a tax increase, the ballot question shall, not may, not when you choose. Taxpayer's Bill of Rights says the ballot question shall begin with, shall taxes be increased by X amount? Well, the fiscal note here says $54.4 million. The chief financial officer is on record saying it's a tax increase. But in a public room, you don't want to say it's a tax increase. You want to play the word games and say it's not a tax rate increase. Have an honest conversation with the voters. Tell them you're taking away their TABOR rebates forever. Tell them when this is eliminated, these protections, the mill levies, all of them can be maxed to the max rate. I also have Dr. Corbo saying that. I'm out of time. This is a tax increase. Fix this ballot language. This is not honest.
Thank you for your time.
Awesome, Natalie. Awesome. Thank you for that testimony. Thank you for speaking out, telling these county commissioners how wrong they are, and that they're violating the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights, they're violating our state constitution, and the fact that they just don't care.
Yeah. And that was, 2 minutes and it went by boom. so many other things to have been said to them. Main point though, we had a list of volunteers, activists who showed up at this meeting, and almost all of them recognize that consistent theme that the county wants to say they've had an honest and transparent discussion. Baloney. I mean, that language is false. They said they had open meetings with a contractor, Bighorn. There were also meetings where they shut the meeting, closed it down, turned the public and said, you're not allowed in here, and had private meetings with that consultant. The consultant, who was, by the way, again, paid $340,000 of our money, our public taxpayer money, to message and massage wording and create this perfect little constructed, crafted ballot issue to be able to trick the voters. Honest and transparent. Oh, how can they even sit there and not turn beet red? You know, go ahead. And I'm
Awesome.
thankful
No,
Jessica recorded that, because I just, the county's having some technical difficulties, and I wouldn't be surprised if, today's video had, little delay in getting posted. So I'm glad she captured part of it.
definitely. Just want to, Jessica was there. I want to read what she had to say. She said, at every level of government, bureaucrats show up and help their fellow useless bureaucrats suck more out of the productive class. They are on their bureaucrat dollar and paid when doing such. And then, as a citizen, if you want to fight it, you have to take off work and lose money, like Natalie Menten always is and has for years and years. People like her in Colorado are my motivation. There are some truly amazing people here who expose and fight the government to its face, knowing it's an uphill battle. So thank you, Natalie, for your testimony down there. Thank you for getting organized. And these Jefferson County commissioners, the taxpayers, the voters, they need to know that this is a tax increase, that their public persuasive techniques are not going to work because the truth is getting out there, and their attempts to manipulate the public are hopefully going to fail in November, as long as people can recognize that.
I hope that's true. And well, I appreciate her comments and all in the motivation. That's very, very sweet of her. I think especially she has picked up on how many recruits the government lines up to be able to, again, help with that messaging. And it was interesting today watching how many, because they had lined up a few people to testify in favor of this. Otherwise, who the individuals were testifying in favor of this were actually people who are contracted, paid by the government, called typically in a lot of cases NGOs, non-governmental organizations. So for actual citizens that were standing there today and saying, raise my property taxes, they really, in large part, were not there reflective. Meanwhile, we as a group of citizens showed up, took that time off, away from whether it was, paid work or, getting your, contractor over to do work, getting the car fixed, all the things in life that people need to do. They took off time, and that was hours over there today. So I'm really grateful. So many people were willing to stand up, and it's a good indication that as we build force and we are looking for people to join in this, that there's already a good group. Please jump in, message on the board if you're interested, and I'm sure Brandon can help hook up. So anyway, keep going.
So Natalie, in your testimony today, you played a video. You played a little 10-second clip from the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer of Jefferson County Government, admitting on video in public, basically, that this is a tax increase. Let's go ahead and play that clip here for people. So let's see, this video, it says here, June 26, 2024, Jefferson County Budget and Audit Committees get a TABOR presentation by Jeffco Chief Financial Officer Stephanie Corbo.
Yeah, and hold on
Yeah,
before
go
you
ahead.
note that they don't publish the recordings of these meetings. It takes effort to get these recordings. So again, them saying things are transparent and all that, you gotta have your eyes open on these things. So this is a meeting that you won't find recorded anywhere else. And that's why they felt probably a little bit of looser in their conversation. So go ahead and play.
Wow. So just to clarify, these videos are not recorded. They're not saved anywhere. If you don't catch it live, there's no chance you're going to see it. Is that what you're saying?
All the meetings that I have requested in the past, so even their staff briefings, they have a regular hearing, then they go to staff briefing. I've asked for the recordings, they say no. So this is a budget, not it. It's like way down the like chain. So no, they will not produce these under a core as far as I know.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play it. This is definitely some good
Okay.
inside information about what's going on in Jefferson County. So here we go. The Jefferson County Chief Financial Officer, Stephanie Corbo, is the main person you'll hear talking here after the gentleman. Here we go, 10 seconds.
The cons will say it's a tax increase and already have for years.
For those who are paying property taxes, it is because you're not getting that refund check back.
There we go.
You know, that says it right there.
Cons will
Go ahead, play it again.
I was just going to replay it for people because it's so quick here. Let's
say
go.
it's a tax increase and already have for years.
For those who are paying property taxes, it is because you're not getting that refund check back.
Yeah. That was the most honest thing of, but just to give you background again, close relationships. So one of the budget and audit committee meetings, Jim Dale there, who's the one saying the cons, will call it a tax increase. He's head of the budget committee. And one of the meetings where Ian Silveri was presenting, Ian kids on Zoom and Jim's there. And oh, Ian, my good old buddy, helping me on like my first campaign and stuff. And it's like, man, you guys are just all pals. You must get together for coffee and donuts like every Saturday or something. Good buds.
There it Yeah, it's insider. I mean, it's a network, right? Most people are living their lives, working hard, trying to feed their families, and you have all these political insiders, these people who've known each other for years, who've maybe helped each other get elected, who've maybe funded each other's campaigns, maybe endorsed each other for office, worked behind the scenes to help each other's careers out, and now they're getting awarded these big contracts to take our tax money away, and of course, they're just going to be giving some of that tax money back to these consultants for other projects. I can only imagine. So the truth is out there. The reality is, quote here, well, for those paying property taxes, it is a tax increase because you're not getting that refund check back. That is what they're trying to do to Jefferson County voters, Jefferson County taxpayers, Jefferson County property owners. Do not let their public persuasion techniques, their manipulative campaign tactics convince you otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got to say, I talked to somebody, let's just say a reporter about this thing here that maybe coming up, but she said, well, when they said that in the meeting, didn't any of the budget and audit committee members just go like, whoa, tax increase? And I was like, no, they're not gonna say any of that. These are citizen appointed members, and I do not know them much personally, but let me just say I've listened several meetings. I don't know that I'm seeing aggressive citizen engagement, let's say. I'm trying to put this really nicely, versus like the staff handing it out and going, here's it what it is. So to see these folks basically getting ready to help push a tax increase. I mean, that's what they are. They're talking in the rest of this meeting. I got the whole thing. They're talking about how to help and how to message. So we don't have budget and audit watchdogs on these committees, honestly. And I'm sad to say maybe there are, and they're just being quiet. I hope that's the case. But anyway, just speaking to the group. So, all right, we'll keep going.
Well, all these links will be at freestatecolorado.com. You can find this, play this. If you know anybody in Jefferson County, please alert them. Please let them know that there's a concerted effort here, a taxpayer-funded effort run by these crony politicians to try and take taxpayer money away. And Natalie, your website, coballot.com/Jefferson-County, is a great resource for people to learn more about this little sweetheart deal, this $340,000 deal of a taxpayer money going to this political operative who's been neck deep in political campaigns for a lot of the same people we're talking about today. And so people check that out at coballot.com/Jefferson-County. Of course, links will be at freestatecolorado.com. You can go in here and really understand what they're trying to do there, Natalie.
Yeah, it's got the contracts, the scope of work, some of the news articles. There's a couple things like we're going to show one clip, something I had to post up there, and then I'll update it. There is a sign up there. If anybody does want to help, either on this Jeffco Tabor issue or the Arapahoe issue or the RTD issue. So I cover those kind of there. So if you're really interested in protecting our taxpayers' Bill of Rights, you can sign up for notices and helping on there. Although honestly, I say I'm so busy going to things, I certainly won't be spamming anybody because I hardly have time to write the emails.
Well, it definitely takes that citizen engagement, citizen involvement, and people, this is going to be a huge election year. And I really urge people not to focus so much on what's going on the presidential race. There's not much you can do to affect that. But if you live in Jefferson County, there is something you can do to help protect your wallet, to help try and keep your property taxes lower than they otherwise would be if these greedy politicians get their way. So that's coballot.com/Jefferson-County. Let's take a look here as well at this Bighorn versus Corner scoring. So we talked about Bighorn Consulting. This is the company, the Bighorn company that is got this sweetheart deal, this $340,000 deal. Ian Silveri is one of the head honchos there. He's married to Congressman Brittany Pedersen, former state legislative active leader down there. Of course, Ian was working on the House Majority Fund, working through Progress Now, writing at the Denver Post. I mean, so connected. It doesn't get much more connected than that. So his group, Bighorn, was competing with Cornerstone here for this big sweetheart contract. And Natalie, what happened here?
Well, this jumps back to the county is saying that they had a transparent process in hiring Bighorn. It was fair, it was competitive, blah, blah, blah. But when you dig actually into the scoring sheet, so people submit, the vendors submit their submissions, and then they're scored. Pricing, your approach, strategy, your experience, all those different things. I think it's notable that Bighorn, when I did have to do this public information request, because it's not posted on the website, you have to know to ask for it. If we look at the sheet that I got from purchasing, Bighorn has actually came in lower on this contract for scoring. So for variety of different things, availability and the timing, the project approach, as a whole, Bighorn came in with a lower score than Cornerstone. And on top of that, Bighorn was more costly than Cornerstone. So when they say it was all competitive, we got to ask the county commissioners who was having discussions in a back room about ensuring that Bighorn got this contract. I also know they had an executive session regarding this contract. There's so many suspect things about this whole deal. And just as a lead into one of our next videos, we are going to go into a little more detail. I think we've said that a couple times, but that's because the story's been building, about more of these contracts that something is pretty rotten out there under the gold dome at Taj Mahal. There's
Definitely.
no reason, less of a product, lower scoring, more money, and a lot of money, $20,000 a month. I've got to get the final core on this. Again, this is taxpayer money. Like Michael Vance was one of the ones who testified today, and I think he used just the best simple word. This was just gross. It was gross.
A good
How
way
do
to
you
say it.
describe public money going to this?
Good way to say it. I mean, if these county commissioners and this supposed county leadership really was a steward of the taxpayer money, really trying to do its best for the county, then they probably would have went with somebody who saved $115,000 by going with Cornerstone compared to Bighorn. Cornerstone scored higher. There's a lot of reasons why to go there, but of course, Bighorn is the politically connected one with the Congress implications. And I mean, Ian Silveri definitely helped the careers of two of the county commissioners at least. So yeah, a lot of insider stuff going on down there, really fishy stuff, and I look forward to getting more into that in a later video. for anybody who wants the background, definitely check out a previous presentation, actually back in February, if you can believe it was that long, that Natalie and I did. Natalie had an amazing interview and article with Sean Boyd about this exact topic here, along with the RTD in Arapahoe County. But we put together this little graph here, just so people know. Bighorn is this Ian Silveri company. You can see his name here at the bottom, highlight or underlined. Married to Brittany Pedersen, who's a current congresswoman. She served in the state legislature with Tracy Kraft-Tharp and Andy Kerr, who are currently Jefferson County Commissioners. Ian Silveri helped elect both of those people, also helping to elect, and then Leslie Dahlkamper's there as well. They returned the favor, hiring Ian Silveri, and you can see all that shenanigans there. So people, this is how politics really works. It's not what they teach you in civics class, and pay attention because they're trying to take your taxpayer money. It's bad enough that all this kind of what I would call corruption, or what I would call maybe, bad business being done behind closed doors. That's bad enough. What makes it even worse is they want to take your money away from you and your family when things are so expensive, and people are just struggling to pay their bills, and they just want to take more and more away. So shameful stuff. Check out this presentation. It's at freestatecolorado.com. I'll post the link as well. But Natalie, you had a great interview and expose there with Sean Boyd of CBS there.
Yes, wonderful reporter. Everybody, please, if you get a chance, thank her for her work. I think she deserves great, really digs down into it and listens. There's so many reporters who kind of skim over it, and Sean's really, she's done besides the stories I've worked on, just great reputation. So I just give her high marks.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, like we said at the beginning, this ties into our public persuasion video that we did previously here. So talking about this contract, talking about what we're seeing. Tell us a little bit about this slide here, Natalie.
Yeah. So Bighorn went out, did polling, massaged language, came up with ballot language, tweaked, like things like, got a video, public safety itself didn't poll high enough. So if they put in crime prevention, that polled higher. So they switched the language to appeal to what on that menu was going to get somebody to check. Yeah, I'm going to, in theory, right, just let you retain revenue, which now we've said is a tax increase. But what language will get somebody to be persuaded? And so they've come up with this option 5. It basically is going to say they get to remove Tabor property tax caps. They would be gone for us. They would be removing the 5.5% annual property tax limit that's in state statute. They agreed today that would be gone. They argue, the CFO, because again, I'm not dealing with people who are listening. They say, oh, the mill levy, it won't go up, will it? It's like, got recording, your CFO said it will. So they don't highlight these things in the message, in the ballot language. And as I've said earlier in the video, to comply with Tabor, it has to start with shall taxes be increased. Tabor doesn't say that that's when you want. It says if it's a tax increase, it's got to have it. This measure does not.
Wow.
So they
so
need to,
deceptive.
whenever you see the message to the viewers is when you're running one of these county commissioners, stopping and saying, listen to the video. And I know you've heard the video. So how can you just stand there without blushing, turning beet red, and your nose growing 4 feet long? It's a tax increase. And this is not just Jeffco, this is RTD with a detailer. So they've crafted their final language and basically saying we're going to give up our Tabor tax refunds for this year and then for every year after. It removes this property tax limit on that Tabor and the annual mill levy law, which we've talked about before. There's consequences in here that are permanent. We again cannot petition back this right at a local level. This makes this decisions just so important. And I had to laugh during the testimony. They kept saying, our Jeffco is the odd one. Jeffco is the one that's got the problem. All the other counties that gave away their Tabor rights, they were the right ones. And then think about all the property tax discussions that we've had over the last, what, 2 years, 3 years? We would not have had to have had those if all of those jurisdictions had their TABOR property tax caps in place. We wouldn't have been at the mercy and kneeling before state legislators begging for our property tax relief if we'd had our TABOR property tax caps. So to hear these people going, Adams County got rid of TABOR, so can we. I just want to go, oh my gosh. Wow. So, but that reflected, again, the testimony today. I liked what I was seeing, and the polling that unfortunately we paid $340,000 for said voters are not open to tax increases. We just got to simply get the message across that it is deceptive, it's a lie. And actually, the politicians have pulled this on us so often over the last, 10 years. The average voter has caught on to it. So, but it's just ensuring, presidential year, there's just so much commotion politically. People are trying to deal with their lives. So it's going to take a lot of us, but between social media, gosh, we've got such an advantage over, fighting tax hikes from 20 years ago where you really were dependent on paper and, knocking on the door. I mean, there's so many other things, text messaging. We can do it. We can beat this. All right, let's go. I'm ready.
All right. Yeah, let's beat this. Let's sound the alarm that there's deceptive ballot language coming to Jefferson County voters in November. They're using these public persuasion techniques, polling people, crafting their ballot measures, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of your taxpayer money to try and find a way for you to convince you that you don't deserve the money you earn. And that's what they're trying to do, folks. So I really appreciate your time, Natalie. Appreciate your efforts here. Look forward to talking to you again soon. And exposing some more of the dirty dealings down there in Jefferson County. But I think we're good for now. We covered a lot of good information, and can't wait for our next conversation.
I'm looking forward to it too. We're going to have a big teaser. We're going to talk about more corruption and sadly more public dollars going to special interests. On the other hand, it will be a good motivational factor for people in Jefferson County to put an end to this, because apparently this is going on more. It's not a rare occasion, I guess.
Yep, people need to be aware, pay attention to your local governments, and yeah, tune in next time.
Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks, Natalie. Have a good night.
You too.